Hey, Canucks fans and friends, so thrilled today to talk to my new best friend. We had a chance to spend time together over the weekend. I met his lovely wife and his two awesome children at their lovely home in Chilliwack. So please say hello to Dave Noordam. Hello, Dave.
Hey Clay, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for making the time, man. I appreciate it. And we'll get into your story in a few minutes. But firstly, tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up here in the Lower Mainland. Grew up a diehard Canucks fan. My first memories are actually Trevor Linden getting drafted.
Oh,
Um, so hearing the stories about him before he was drafted, and then watching him through his whole career, and then going through the '94 run and everything like that, and then up to today, right? So
yeah.
yeah, I've been a diehard since the very beginning, and yeah, that kind of brings me up to today.
That's awesome. And I want to talk about your Canucks fandom in a couple of minutes, but tell me about your family a little bit, who I got to meet on the weekend.
Yeah, I have a wife Janelle. We've been married 7 years now.
Yeah.
And two young boys. Jesse just turned 3. Jeremiah just turned 4 months old.
Awesome.
So yeah, they're both really small. They're both little
Jeremiah's not
miracles.
that small, actually. Jeremiah's not that small.
No, he's not. He's actually only 10'5", and he's already about 18 pounds. So yeah, he's a pretty big boy. But, yeah, they're both miracles. We were told we couldn't have kids, and after 4 years of 4 miscarriages and all that stuff, then suddenly Jesse comes along, and then now Jeremiah comes along during this time. So
Well, yeah, and I'd love to, if you don't mind. Well, I guess you can't stop me now. The funny story was when I was visiting with Dave and Janelle on the weekend. Jeremiah is 4 months old, but they were trying to put a onesie that's made for 9 months old, 9 months old kids, and it didn't fit him because it was too small already. That's true, right?
that's 100%. Yep. Yeah, we're putting him in some clothes that are 12 to 18 months already. So
I'll lend him a couple of my shirts next year. I think he'll fit.
probably will.
Well, that's awesome, Dave. And in all seriousness, I know many of you who on this YouTube channel, you used to be interviewing media or both national and local media. But I also want to bring more fans into the equation and just talk about and talk to people I've had the blessing of meeting, and that was indeed the case this past weekend. Okay, Dave. So we'll get to your family situation in a bit, but I want to talk a bit about the Canucks because, along with being good looking, middle aged, balding, and glasses, that's another thing that we have in common. Were you surprised with the Canucks run, or did last postseason, or did you think that they had it in them, or was that a surprise to you?
I think it went about as far as I was expecting and hoping at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't totally thrown for a loop. I wasn't surprised they got past St. Louis at all.
Yeah.
Um, Hoping for better luck against Vegas, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty much about where I expected them, and about where I expect them to start off next year and moving forward.
Good. And that leads me to my next question. And it's something I've been talking about on my channel a lot is we know the departures of Markstrom, Tanev, Toffoli, Stetcher, Levo, Fantenberg, and Domingue. We know of the additions of Holtby, Schmidt, and Jace Harelek. So one would look at that and say, and this is what I vlogged about a couple of days ago, that maybe on paper the team looks a little bit weaker. You could say they've improved on D, but maybe taken a step back in goal and up front. What do you say, Dave?
I say pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That being said, I do expect there to be growth from within. Pedersen's getting better.
Yeah.
He's going to continue to get better. Hughes is getting better. Bo is getting better. Brock's getting better. It's going to be, I think it'll be pretty close to very similar to last year at the very end.
Yeah.
With slightly improved D. And I think Holtby can actually step up to be a good 1B to Demko to have just as solid goaltending as last year.
Awesome. And you're right. I agree with you. I think we're not going to say they're going to win the division, especially if it's an all Canadian division, but they should be fighting for a playoff spot. And as we've seen over the past couple of years, anything can happen once you get in there. Who are you more excited about, Schmidt or Holtby? Which addition are you more excited about? I know you like both, but.
I have to say Holtby, to be honest, because I grew up when I was young. I'm the younger brother we got 5 kids in our family, but I'm the younger brother. So every goalie will tell you they started because they had an older brother who needed someone to shoot at. So I started as a goalie. My brother took shots at me. Kirk McLean was my favorite, followed by Marty Brodeur, then Patrick Roy, now Braden Holtby. I just love what he does and how he plays. And
Yeah, I agree. And, yeah, he had a bad year, but that Washington team wasn't the best defensively. You're right. Maybe if he's sharing the load and with a new change of scenery, he might recapture. He might not be Vezina quality, but we know he is a good goaltender and probably
Plus,
the
he's got
perfect.
Clark working with him, right?
Yes, Ian Clark, perfect mentor for Thatcher Demko. That's awesome. So let's talk a bit about then. One thing I really enjoy about you, Dave, as well, and we interact on Twitter as well, is we come of the same ilk and we try and be a little more on the, not a little more, we're more on the positive side. I think it comes from our outlook. It comes maybe from our faith backgrounds. It just comes from overall, maybe not wanting to pick fights. Well, I can't speak for you. That's my thing. But I do know that, but it doesn't mean that you don't have a good opinion or a strong opinion or a well thought of opinion. What's your overall feeling about Canucks Twitter? Do you enjoy it? Does it tire you out? Like, where are you? Where do you stand when it comes to that?
For the most part, I enjoy it. I enjoy the interactions with everybody, right?
Yeah.
I think partly because, like you said, I bring a positive attitude and mindset, and so I don't really have those beefs with anybody. Um, I really love each and every person that I interact with, and I've been treated but nothing with respect, and that's what I want to give to everybody else. I want people to know that no matter who you are and what you believe, what you do, no matter where we differ in life, I'm gonna love on you and I'm gonna care for you and I'm gonna be there to listen for you. Right.
That's awesome. Loving on people. That's an amazing, that's a wonderful way of putting it. And two groups of people, or two people I want to bring up that we talked about when we visited on the weekend. And you could say they're polarizing, or they have good, strong opinions. And that's why they have a lot of people agree with them and a lot of people disagree with them. The first one is Tej. And I know we're going to talk about it a little bit more because he helped set up something that we're going to talk about. But you've had great interactions with Tej Dollywall on Twitter.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, again, I've never had a bad interaction with anybody really.
Yeah.
Few people here and there, obviously, that they sign up just to try and annoy people and then delete their accounts, I swear. But no, Tej has always been good to me. I've been, everyone been fair and honest with our opinions, even if they differ here and there. And,
yeah.
It really spoke to me when I just had my surgery and I'm wondering what's going to happen going forward. And he just sent me a message, hey, I just want to set this up for you right now. And
wow,
got it going, right off the bat. And I never even thought anything. I never even thought of even trying something like that before. And it's really been a godsend for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But yes, Tej, and I go back as well. He founder of the Large Cast, as we know. And yeah, we don't always agree on everything, but I do know him to be very generous and very genuine. And for him to step up and do that for you, that's amazing. Another group, and sometimes they get into it a lot, and I love it, and it's fun. It's scary. I never want to be on the wrong side. Are the wonderful ladies from the Broadscast?
I love those ladies with all my heart. I actually wrote them a letter a while ago, basically explaining that I am legitimately the antithesis of what they're looking for.
I saw that. Yeah.
I'm a straight white guy that's pushing 40, but they bring so much that I would never have thought of. They give me so much more awareness that in my sheltered life, I would never have thought of,
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a 40-year-old white guy, grew up in the Lower Mainland here, so a predominantly white area. So I don't see all the racism that they've experienced. I don't see all the sexism that they've experienced.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very conservative culture. And so I've been made more aware of my surroundings and the people that I interact with, largely because of them, and allows me to actually love them more, love the people that I'm around more, because I know how to interact with them better and I know how to understand them. And I love that they're slightly irreverent and they're funny and they're witty and extremely intelligent, right? And so, sorry for shaking the camera. My laptop's just on my
don't worry about it
up here, but
yeah,
like I don't know, like I said, I love those girls to pieces, and they have hearts of gold. Like they really want to see change in the world, and that's very evident from when you interact with them. And what more can you ask for of anybody, right?
Yep. Well said. Well said. No, that's awesome. And springing off of both Tej and the broadcast ladies is a wonderful segue into what I really want to talk about, really want to share with everyone who will be blessed to hear from you over the next few minutes. Is I want you to just talk about where you're at in life, what you're battling with, and how we got to this point, and then we'll go into how people can help you if they feel so called. So go for it, Dave.
Okay, so actually about this time last year, I noticed what I thought was a canker sore in my mouth. Something everybody deals with, right? No big deal, goes away after a couple of weeks, or rinse with salt water or whatever. Um, I kind of just pushed it off, ignored it, no big deal. Then it started getting worse. The pain started getting worse, wasn't going away. And it got to the point right before Christmas that my now 3-year-old, so I was 2 years old at the time, he'd up in my arms and he'd accidentally just touch my face and I would drop him literally because I was dropped in pain. And my wife's like, that's just not normal. Like, a canker sore is not going to make you double over in pain like that, especially you met me. I'm not a small guy by any means. And
well, neither of us are, but yeah.
Yeah. So ultimately, I kept putting off being a stubborn touch boy. I just put it all off. And my wife eventually had to make a doctor's appointment for me. End of January, I finally got into the doctor. He took a look, said, okay, I need to get this biopsy, sent me to an ENT right away. From there, they took a biopsy, found out it's called squamous cell carcinoma. And that was pretty hard to hear, especially when I found out from the doctor that this type of cancer is actually very rare in someone my age.
Wow.
It usually comes in someone who's in their 70s, 80s. So there's not usually a strong prognosis for someone with this background because they don't usually get it till they're later on in life, advanced stages. So I had the surgery in February. They removed a big chunk from my inside of my cheek, was about 2 inches big, and still have scar tissue there. Can't open my mouth fully because of that. And then in March, they told me, hey, you're cancer free. All the edges are benign. Everything's all good. We're like, all right, this is great. Go on with my life. Of course, then that's when COVID hits and, stuck doing all this being at home. And then our baby comes in end of June. And then
the big one, Jeremiah. Yeah, Jeremiah. Yeah.
Yeah. And 2 weeks later, I was shaving and I noticed a lump right here on my lymph node, just while shaving. And I thought, you know what, I got to see the doctor right away this time. So I did. And he said, well, normally I wouldn't worry about it. Like, everyone has a swollen lymph node there when they have a cold or whatever. He goes, but because of your cancer history, let's go get it checked. And sure enough, I got it checked. And within a week or so, they told me that cancer had come back. It was in my lymph nodes this time, same cancer. This time we needed to do surgery. So they got on it pretty quick because that was mid-July. Mid-August, I had surgery right on my neck. As you still see a scar here. I had 25 staples in my neck. Made it hard to move and all that stuff for a bit. And then got that removed. And then apparently there were 78 lymph nodes removed from your neck. I didn't know the neck had that many, but apparently the neck has over 300 lymph nodes alone.
Wow. And
then, so recovered from that. And then I just started a new job in September and then been working there. And then, they told me that I'm going to need radiation and chemo. So I started those day after Thanksgiving. And so it's been 3 weeks now of radiation and chemo. And I'm still pushing. I'm still pushing through my job, working as hard as I can, but it's getting harder and harder. Physically, like I'm not moving very well anymore. Today I folded a load of laundry and I was done for an hour afterwards. Things like that. It's becoming frustrating. I told my wife it's actually becoming emasculating to feel that all your energy and all your life feels like it's being sucked out of you. Because you want to go and work and just for your own mental health and that sort of thing. Like, I don't know many people who don't enjoy working to do something at least, right? And it's becoming hard, and I think that's one of the biggest struggles. But in the last week, I've also noticed because of the radiation, I've got sores all through my mouth and my lips. So getting food into me has actually been really difficult. The doctors, as much as I want to lose a lot of weight, and I have, they don't want me to lose too much during this time because I need my energy to fight cancer.
Right.
And unfortunately, in the last week and a half or so, I've lost approximately 20 pounds.
Wow.
And just because I can't get the
Yeah.
food in me.
Yeah. You were telling me on the weekend, eggs are basically one of the only things that you can eat without causing you a lot of pain and grief.
Pretty much
Yeah.
eggs and maybe some soups, as long as there's no spices.
Oh,
It's gotta be as bland as possible. And yeah, so it's kind of frustrating,
yeah.
but I still have a lot to be thankful for. I've got my wife has been incredible. You met her yesterday. She's just such an
Yeah.
amazing support.
Yeah.
My two young boys, something to look at. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm thankful that it's me going through it and not them. I'm thankful it's not my siblings, my parents, my cousins. Like, I wouldn't wish this on anybody in the world, right? So
Hmm.
I've got a lot to be thankful in that respect.
Wow, what a thank you. What a powerful story. And thank you for your sharing your great attitude. I felt it when I was at your place on the weekend. I feel it right now coming through the screen, just your positive vibe. Before we get to how people, can help, I did want to ask you, so when they had the surgery and you had all the staples, they basically got it out, but you still need radiation chemo because it's not all out, or is it precautionary or?
Well, they were going to do radiation regardless,
Yeah.
but they did a PET scan following the surgery, and there is still some cancer both on this side and even a little bit on this side.
Okay.
So the two targeted areas on my neck and
Yeah.
to get rid
Wow.
of. But on the plus side, again, something to be very thankful for, it stayed within my neck
Yeah.
because the doctor said if the PET scan revealed it went below the clavicle, it would be considered terminal.
Wow. Wow.
So very fortunate there.
Yes, absolutely. And which reminds me, I did want to we showed some love to Tej and the Broadcast Girls as well. David Quadrelli of Canucks Army did a wonderful
Oh my
piece
goodness.
on you as well.
Yes, David Quadrell has just did an amazing job, just being a support, just being an advocate, using his skill, his gift, his passion, not just for his own benefit,
Yeah,
which he should. I mean, he's an up and comer, that's for sure. This kid, and
absolutely.
but he's using it to help people, and I don't know. I couldn't be more proud if he was my own kid. To be
Yeah.
honest, like
Well, you're old enough to be his dad. Yeah. So
I am. I legit am. So I am so proud of him. He's doing a great job, and that kid's going places for sure.
oh, that's awesome. And then also, I want to give some love to the Vancouver Canucks, who also tweeted out what we're going to talk about now. So I'm sure it was nice, a thrill to see, the team that you follow and you spend so much time and energy and money on actually try and support you as well.
Oh, 100%. It's
Yeah.
I tell my wife, and she's never really understood it until recently. I think she mentioned this to you yesterday, how I've always mentioned that this is a family.
Yeah.
This is not just reaching out to some random strangers and having fun and this or that. It's become a family. Like, you learn to care about people, and you build a community,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what this has been. And it's become a true family.
Well said. Well, family, Canucks family, this is your chance to help Dave and his family. Now, we talked about Tej Jollywell. He did a good thing. He set up actually a GoFundMe page for Dave and his family, and he put down the goal of $50,000, and they're almost 25% to that goal right now, but we can do a lot better. So I'm asking any of you, if you feel so called after hearing Dave's story, or if you want to support him, no amount obviously is too small, no amount is too large, and I would ask you to consider whether you, however you can help, whatever you can donate. Just to, now that you heard Dave's story, is I'll put the link down below, right in the description. But yeah, I would encourage you, and I would ask you to spend some time thinking about it, reflecting on it, praying about it, whatever you do. And if this is something that, if you're moved to donate and help Dave and his family out, I know that he would be most appreciative. Is there anything you wanted to add to that part, Dave?
Um, Other than just say thank you for everyone who has donated, everyone who shared the link. It's not something I want to do.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't even share it for the first while after Tej set it up, just because I was like, I don't know if I feel right, but I got to the point where I knew I was going to be missing time off work. My doctors have told me I could miss up to 6 months off work because of my situation. I don't qualify for medical EI. I don't have enough insurable hours for medical EI or anything like that. haven't worked long enough to get long-term disability through work. So it's in order to actually take the time off work and support my family, I I need to have this income. And so everything that's come so far has been set in account for when I'm not able to work. And as soon as that happens, that's going to help take care of us for a few months.
Awesome, Dave. And thank you. Yeah. So it's not just the fact that you might not be able to work at your job, it's the fact that, yeah, you didn't qualify for EI yet with the new job. And obviously the medicine's going to cost a bit too. So all those things, yeah, all those things. So again, Canucks friends and family that are watching this, the link is right in the description. If you would feel so called to support Dave and his family, I know he would be most appreciative. Okay, Dave, we're going to end off with what I call the 5-hole, just 5 rapid fire questions. You can answer these as broadly or as narrowly as you want. Sound good?
Sounds great. Let's go.
All right. What is the sport that you excel at most, you playing?
Probably have to be hockey.
Yeah. Goalie or skater?
I think I was a better goalie than I was a skater. Yeah.
Awesome. And that's why your siblings just went to town on you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Number 2, if you were starting a team from scratch, are you starting with Elias Pettersson or Quinn Hughes?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know, it's a good one.
As much as, I mean, I'm wearing a Pettersson shirt right now, but I'm still going to say Quinn. You got to start on D and build out.
Yeah. No. And most actually people, they say A, that it's a tough question. B, they do answer Hughes because they say Pettersson, as awesome as he is, you could argue you could get a franchise center more easily than a franchise D-man. Obviously it's not easy, but
yeah, exactly.
No harm in that answer. Okay. Number 3. And as I explained to you on the weekend, I'm half of each. So you're not offending me if you pick one or the other. Do you prefer Japanese food or Chinese food?
Chinese.
Okay.
Chinese food, 100%. You know what? I've just never been much of a sushi person.
Right.
It could be because I grew up in the valley here. Just not as much access to.
Oh, you mean there aren't great Japanese restaurants in Chilliwack?
As far as I know, no. I have to ask my wife. She does like her sushi herself, but
awesome.
Not so much. It's more, not much sushi out here.
No problem. Next time I'm bringing some over and Janelle and I will eat it. You can just sit there and watch us. That's fine. Okay.
100%.
Number 4, speaking of food, this person is paying for dinner. So I just want you to tell me, who would you rather go out for dinner with? Travis Green, Jim Benning, or Francesco Accolini? Now, don't just think about cost, think about conversation flow. Which of those 3 guys would you love to spend a dinner date with?
I'm going to have to say Travis because I think he's probably the most intelligent of the 3. I think he's got so much knowledge that, there's something there that you just know that you can click with, right?
Yeah. And he seems down to earth. Well, actually, so does Benning. Benning is almost honest to a fault. I like Benning to like that uncle who tells kind of funny stories around the dinner table kind of thing.
Yeah. 100%.
No, Travis Green's good. And lastly, and you can be as serious or trivial as you want. What's one thing that people don't know about you, or what's one thing that you want people to know about you? And obviously, your cancer story is a big one. But what's another thing that you would love people to know about you, or people don't know about you?
Well, I think again, one of the things that drew me to the Broadcast Girls is their openness with their mental health and their wanting to fight for mental health, with the Mock Girl Summer and all that stuff. And one of the reasons why that's always appealed to me is because 3 years ago, when my wife was pregnant with our oldest son, I was actually diagnosed with PTSD from my old job as a police 911 dispatcher.
Wow.
So again, it kind of changes your reality on things, and reaching out to people who have been affected by mental health has been huge for me. And so no matter what I'm going through, doesn't matter if this is cancer, PTSD, if there's anyone who just needs someone to chat with or just having a tough time, send me a DM. I will always listen. I will always be there no matter what.
That's amazing. I know you say that in your Twitter bio. I know that your pinned tweet right now is a haiku for Bell Let's Talk Day, which obviously rings, strongly for me. That's amazing stuff, Dave. And that's the one thing among many things that I admire so much about you, just knowing you now for a full 48 hours in person, is that, despite what you're going through, you're also making yourself available to others, for others. And, my hat's off to you, man. you're full of integrity and full of class and full of strength and full of courage. And I'm blessed to know you. And I was blessed to spend time with you this weekend. So thank you for your example to everyone else.
Yeah, well, thank you again. Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming out and visit. It really meant the world to have someone come out and visit us in this neck of the woods. It's a long drive for you. I understand that.
It's all right. It's a beautiful day.
Very beautiful, obviously, and worth it. But
well worth it. Absolutely. And Dave, lastly, if people want to follow your journey or follow your story, I'm going to link the GoFundMe down below. But what's your Twitter address, your Twitter handle?
Is at Dave Noordam.
Awesome. Easy. First and last name. I'll put that in the description as well. Well, Dave, I know you know that we're all rooting for you, praying for you, fighting for you, and we know that you have the perfect attitude to continue on. So, friends, down below, click on that link and please consider helping Dave and Dave's family. And Dave, let's do this again soon, whether it's on Twitter, Zoom, Facebook, Instagram, or sushi and Chilliwack. We'll figure it out.
You got it.
All right. Thanks, brother. God bless you.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Take care. Thank you.